Konnichiwa collectors, this is Chris of FlyingAceCMX. Our goal here at FlyingAceCMX is to find and review merchandise from throughout the geekdom, whether it's from comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, gaming, or anything else within the multiverse to find out whether or not it's worthy of adorning your shelves. Today's video is surprisingly going to be a figure review. Not just one figure, but two. A couple of months ago, I went to my local tractor supply company. As soon as I got into the store, I happened to see a bin that was full of different varieties of toys. But what really caught my eye was superhero-related stuff. So I give you the Croce Company Bendable Superman and Bendable Batman. Let's take a look at the packaging first, and then take them out and check out what they have to offer. Okay, starting off with the Man of Steel. You see, this is a very simple, comic-inspired package with the current DC Comics logo on it, as well as Croce Company. On the back, it's also very simple. You see the 5 main characters in this set: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and the Joker. And also, it advertises a 4-pack with all of the heroes in it. Now, taking a look at the Dark Knight, you see it has very similar packaging, except Batman themed, of course. Same logos. And the exact same backing. So now that that's taken care of, let's open these up and check them out. Now that these are out of the package, you can actually get a better look at the details. And some of you may be wondering why the designs of the characters look so old school. And there's a reason for that. Because these figures are designed to look like how they were in the late great Darwin Cook's graphic novel, Justice League New Frontier. New Frontier took place within kind of the transition period between the Golden Age and the Silver Age, particularly during the Kennedy administration, when spaceflight was in its infancy. If you haven't checked out New Frontier, I highly suggest doing so. And if you can't, they also came out with an animated version not too long ago, and it was a very good adaptation, I believe. Anyway. Okay, let's take a look at Superman first. See, he has the old school broad-shouldered type body. Looks a little bit like the George Reeves type Superman, with the black and red S, kind of a nod to the old Max Fleischer Superman cartoons from back in the day, which I also highly suggest checking out. The cape looks and feels like it's made out of some sort of cheesecloth material, because it's probably cheaper to make. Let's take a look at Batman. He has a very similar build to Superman, except a little bit more barrel-chested. His eyebrows look very similar to what Adam West had on his costume. If I can get this to focus. There we go. Both of them are rocking thigh-high tights, which calls back to when comic book heroes were first created, because they were somewhat based off of the old strongmen of the vaudeville era. So that was a nice touch of them adding that back on. Now, I won't spoil anything for you, but in New Frontier, Batman has different costumes. At first, he starts off as the 1939 type Batman, and gradually works his way to a more modernized costume. And this is pretty much him about midway through the story. And now we get to the fun part, the actual bending. Well, since these are bendable figures, these have no real articulation points. There are no hinges, no ball joints. They're very old school type figures. If you bought anything from NJ Croce Company before, or any bendable figures at all whatsoever, you're pretty familiar with it. If you look back here, you can see all the little holes, because all bendable figures have all these little holes. That way it makes them easier to bend. And same goes with Batman. I'll just lift up his cape just to show you. Now Superman, he can, this is about as much as he can flex his arms. He can't lift high enough. Well, can't really lift high enough to do his trademark pose. It actually looks a little silly. If you can get it just right, you can actually do his standard Superman hands on hips pose. Kind of. As for his legs, you can bend them about this is about as far as they'll go and stay. That's pretty much all the bending you can do. Like, you can, I don't want to ruin this, but he is pretty flexible, but he doesn't really stay in the same pose. Maybe the hands on hips pose. That's pretty much it. Of course, you can't really turn his head very much, like just a few degrees on either side, and that's about it. Can't really do up or down. Can't really do that. Batman, he has pretty much the same problem. If he had a bigger cape or something, he could actually kind of spread it out over his arms. That way, it looked like he's trying to do his signature bat pose. Although this does look like a little bit of a pose that Adam West would have done, trying to get ready for the Batusi. Okay. Also, you can't really lift his arms up very much, to swing or anything like that. His legs also bend pretty well at the knees, just like Superman. Can't really do much at the hips. I'm just manhandling this thing and I feel bad about it. His head can turn just a few degrees, just like Superman's. Not very much up or down. His feet can at least stay in that pose, as can Superman's, which I forgot to show you. I'll go ahead and show you that. So there's that. If you want to try any flying. Now, I wish I had the Wonder Woman figure to show you, but the place that I got the figures from actually didn't have any Wonder Woman figures or Green Lantern. Not even Joker. They only had about 24 each or so of Batman and Superman, and they've been getting kind of sparse over at Tractor Supply, but they still usually have some in the toy bin. When I bought these at Tractor Supply Company, they were originally marked for about $7.50, and that seemed a little steep to me, but I have a bad habit of leaving something for later and then it'll be sold out next time. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and was ready to spend $15 on these two figures. However, when I got everything rung up, these two figures were actually marked $3.50. So I only spent $7 for the pair. So that was actually a pretty good deal, I thought. Now, do I recommend the figures? Yes and no. Yes, if you're a collector, if you just want to have a cool retro-looking Superman and Batman, say, on your desk or on your shelf, then I say go for it. Also, say if you have a kid or know a kid who likes superheroes and they like to play hard with their toys, then I say these would be very nice gifts to give to them. That way they don't tear them up too bad. You know, the capes might be the first thing to go, but these are actually pretty durable. Now, if you want these for some sort of project like a stop-motion animation or something like that, then you might just have to pass on it because they're not very well articulated. So, in conclusion, if you want these just to look good, to add to your collection, then by all means, go for it. However, if you want to actually put these into dynamic poses, then you're kind of out of luck because those poses will not stick. Will I buy any more of these figures from this particular line? I think I would if I could find them. I know they have them on Amazon for roughly about $7 or $8, which is about what I expected to pay for these at first. My biggest complaint about this series of figures is since they're essentially based off of the story New Frontier, they don't include Martian Manhunter, who was a very good character in that story, and while the story was based around Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter played a pivotal part in the story. And Joker wasn't in the story at all as far as I can remember. That's my biggest gripe, is they didn't include Martian Manhunter. And I've always been a huge fan of Martian Manhunter. You know, he's probably in my top 10 of favorite superheroes. That's all for now. Keep checking our channels. Click on the notification bell to avoid any subscription glitches. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share on your preferred social media. And visit us here on YouTube, as well as my other channel, FlyingAceCMX Vlogs, for random musings, editorials, and other nonsensical crap that I want to share with the general public. Also, be sure to visit FlyingAceCMX on Twitter and FlyingAceCMX on Instagram. And remember, until next time, in the words of the two great ones, be excellent to each other. Later.